We need to talk. And I'm going to do my best to absolutely explain to you my concerns. President-elect Trump establishes the President's Strategic and Policy Forum. Now, this is the concern that I've been voicing after Donald Trump's selection. And I'm trying to tell you that this is a red alert. Blackstone. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they are America's largest landlord. I know this because I live under one of their purchases. Let's put it that way. It's called American Homes for Rent. And it has absolutely been the worst experience of my life, of Emily and my life. Let's put it that way, our lives. I mean, this has been terrible. They do not take care of their properties, and they are buying everything. From pharmacies, to waste management, to hospitals, to houses, to apartment communities. You cannot escape them. The biggest competitor of American Homes for Rent, Blackstone owns it, and Blackstone owns American Homes for Rent. That's who this company is. They are horrendous. They also have ties to the Lehman Brothers, who caused the financial collapse, in 2008. Let me show you who they are first. The Blackstone Group is an American multinational private equity alternative asset management and financial services corporation based in New York City. As the largest alternative investment firm in the world, Blackstone specializes in private equity, credit, and hedge fund investment strategies. Blackstone's private equity business has been one of the largest investors in leveraged buyout transactions over the last decade. While its real estate business has actively acquired commercial real estate, since its inception, Blackstone has completed investments in such notable companies as Hilton Worldwide, Merlin Entertainments Group, Equity Office Properties, Republic Services, Allied Barton, United Biscuits, Freescale Semiconductor, Vivint, and Travelport. Blackstone was founded in 1985 as a mergers and acquisitions boutique by Peter G. Peterson and Stephen A. Schwarzman, who had previously worked together at the Lehman Brothers, Kuhn, Loeb Inc. Over the course of 2 decades, Blackstone has evolved into one of the world's largest private equity investment firms. In 2007, Blackstone completed a $4 billion initial public offering to become one of the first major private equity firms to list shares in its management company on a public exchange. Blackstone is headquartered at 345 Park Avenue in Manhattan, New York City, with 8 additional offices in the U.S., as well as offices in London, Paris, Sydney, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Singapore, Beijing, Shanghai, Madrid, Mumbai, and Dubai. Wow, that's big, right? That is so big. And of course, the biggest part of it right here. They helped cause the people who own Blackstone, who are the CEO and such, the founders, let's put it that way, we'll call them founders. They helped cause the 2008 financial crisis, which has led to their success. And they're working with Donald Trump. Stephen A. Schwarzman, Forum Chairman. Not just an attendee, but he is the chairman, CEO, and co-founder of Blackstone. These are the individuals I was worried about. I was worried about who he was acquiring and placing on strategies and policy crap, whatever, you name it. Because this guy also happens to have donated and been a part of the Clinton Foundation. More than half the people outside the government who met with Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State gave money, either personally or through companies or groups, to the Clinton Foundation. It's an extraordinary proportion indicating her possible ethics challenges if elected president. At least 85 of 154 people from private interests who met or had phone conversations scheduled with Clinton while she led the State Department donated to her family charity or pledged commitments to its international programs, according to a review of State Department calendars released so far to the Associated Press. Combined, the 85 donors contributed as much as $156 million. At least 40 donated more than $100,000 each, and 20 gave more than $1 million. Donors who were granted time with Clinton included an internationally known economist who asked for her help as the Bangladesh government pressured him to resign from a nonprofit bank he ran, a Wall Street executive who sought Clinton's help with a visa problem, and Estee Lauder executives who were listed as meeting with Clinton while her department worked with the firm's corporate charity to counter gender-based violence in South Africa. The meetings between the Democratic presidential nominee and foundation donors do not appear to violate legal agreements Clinton and former President Bill Clinton signed before she joined the State Department in 2009. But the frequency of the overlaps shows the intermingling of access and donations and fuels perceptions that giving the foundation money was a price of admission for FaceTime with Clinton. Her calendars and emails released as recently as this week describe scores of contacts she and her top aides had with foundation donors. Clinton's campaign said that the AP analysis was flawed because it did not include in its calculations meeting with foreign diplomats or U.S. government officials. And the meetings AP examined covered only the first half of Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. Now, of course, I don't want to read all of this to you because it's extremely long. So we're just going to skip to the Blackstone part. In another case, Clinton was host at a September 2009 breakfast meeting at the New York Stock Exchange that listed Blackstone Group chairman Stephen Schwarzman as one of the attendees. Schwarzman's firm is a major Clinton Foundation donor, but he personally donates heavily to GOP candidates and causes. One day after the breakfast, according to Clinton emails, the State Department was working on a visa issue at Schwarzman's request. In December that same year, Schwarzman's wife, Christine, sat at Clinton's table during the Kennedy Center honors. Clinton also introduced Schwarzman, the then chairman of the Kennedy Center, before he spoke. So we realize how big this is, okay? Blackstone donated between $250,000 and $500,000 to the Clinton Foundation. 8 Blackstone executives also gave between $375,000 and $800,000 to the foundation. These people they're donating quite a bit. And Blackstone's charitable arm has pledged millions of dollars in commitments to 3 Clinton global aid projects ranging from the U.S. to the Mideast. Blackstone officials did not make Schwarzman available for comment. Now, of course, I can keep going, but there's the Blackstone part I wanted to present to you. However, there's more. Back to the Wikipedia page. The Blackstone Group was founded in 1985 by Peter G. Peterson and Stephen A. Schwarzman and Richard Bennett, with $400,000 in seed capital. The founders named their firm Blackstone, which was a cryptogram derived from the names of the 2 founders, Schwarzman and Peterson. Schwarz is German for black. Peter, or Petra in Greek, means stone or rock. The 2 founders had previously worked together at Lehman Brothers. Kuhn, Loeb Inc. At Lehman, Schwarzman served as head of the Lehman Brothers global mergers and acquisition business. Prominent investment banker Roger C. Altman, another Lehman veteran, left his position as a managing director of Shearson Lehman Brothers to join Peterson and Schwarzman at Blackstone in 1987. In 1992, Altman left Blackstone to join the Clinton administration as Deputy Treasury Secretary. After leaving politics in 1996, Altman would found a boutique investment banking and private equity firm, Evercore Partners. Well then, I think it's pretty safe to say that they've been donating and helping fund the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons, the Clinton Crime Syndicate, So, I just don't understand. How in the world do these two come together here? Because Donald Trump is so anti-Clinton, supposedly, but yet the person who is the forum chairman. Let me explain to you about one of the largest companies that they own, America's biggest landlord. We've had so many problems here that we've had a lot of interactions with the maintenance who have come to where we're renting. And upon one of their trips, we'll call it that, we were told about a story. And American Homes for Rent, who is owned by Blackstone Group, is so bad that what they did to this disabled It wasn't a place where disabled people live. The name is escaping me because it's so frustrating. They let poop and sewage sit in the yard for almost 2 weeks before they even acknowledged that there was a problem with the plumbing. I mean, can you imagine having your sewage sitting in your front yard? This wasn't one individual, it was one of the properties that they own. Let's put it that way. And it happens to be a place for disabled people. I'm not entirely sure of the name of it, but they let poop sit in the front yard, stinking to high heaven, for up to 2 weeks. These people are dirty because they bought their housings and properties and land and so on and so forth right after the Lehman Brothers pretty much caused the economic collapse of 2008, which means that they were a part of it. And now Schwarzman is going to be working with Trump. Let's look at their past real quick. Trump and Schwarzman. President-elect Donald Trump announced the formation of a council to advise him on job creation. A group comprised of the leaders of a variety of major U.S. corporations, including GE, GM, Boeing, Disney, and IBM. Stephen Schwarzman, chief executive officer of major investment firm Blackstone Group LP, will chair the council. My administration is committed to drawing our private sector expertise and cutting the government red tape that is holding back our businesses from hiring, innovating, and expanding right here in America. Trump said in a statement announcing the formation of the council. Trump called Schwarzman earlier this week to ask for his help in chairing the council. According to a source familiar with the discussions, who is not authorized to speak publicly on the arrangements, the two men, who are not friends, supposedly, and have not done business together before, I highly doubt that. They're in the retail. They're in the, wow, I'm blanking. Real estate business. The biggest company, the biggest landlord in America has never really talked to Donald Trump, who is the real estate tycoon. I doubt that. I really doubt that. I don't know exactly what to expect when Trump hits office, but these are the sorts of people I've been watching for. Emily and myself have been watching for. Because where our current situation, it's the worst ever. Ever. And I know there's a lot of people who don't realize that they're also living under a Blackstone-owned group. Creating jobs is a good thing. Here's the problem. People need to own their houses. People need to own their cars. But this group here has pretty much bought a very large portion of real estate and, of course, properties and landscape. We'll put this landscape, land in America. It's incredible that the two who are supposedly at odds are going to be working together. Now, who else is on this forum? Potomac Global Partners, former commissioner of the Securities and Exchange Commission. You have Mary Barra, chairman and CEO of General Motors. Toby Cosgrove, CEO of Cleveland Clinic. Jamie Dimon, chairman and CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase & Co. Larry Fink, chairman and CEO of BlackRock. Bob Iger, chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company. Well, now we know a lot about Walt Disney and mind control. Rich Lesser, president and CEO, Boston Consulting Group. Doug McMillon, president and CEO, Walmart. The worst place in America. The problem is, people could work a long time ago for 40 hours a week. The man could work 40 hours a week, the woman could stay home, and everything was fine. The man could afford food. There'd be a full fridge. Everything was paid. But now you have people who work at Walmart, because that's the biggest job provider in the U.S., who cannot afford food, housing, clothes, you name it. Former chairman, Jim McNerney, former chairman, president, and CEO of Boeing. Now, of course, there's been a spout between Boeing and Trump. Adebayo, chairman and managing partner, Global Infrastructure Partners. And this is my next point. This is what I'm most concerned about. We've been exposing Global Goal 9 under the UN, and we've shown you what they have to do. They have to rebuild this country. That's part of Trump's plan. He's a builder. I'm not saying that Trump is necessarily going to be building the FEMA infrastructure, but increasingly it is appearing so. And this is the concern I've had. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's incorrect. Trump's going to save us. No, Jesus will save you. Trump is not Jesus. Stop with that crap. Trump's going to save America. No, no, and no. Trump cannot save America. Jesus can save America. Chairman and President Ginni Rometty, CEO of IBM. Well, that's pretty interesting because IBM is helping create the technology that will get rid of all jobs in America. Artificial intelligence. Kevin Warsh, Shepherd Family Distinguished Visiting Fellow in Economics, Hoover Institute, former member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Mark Weinberger, Global Chairman and CEO of A. Jack Welch, former Chairman and CEO of General Electric. Daniel Yergin, Vice Chairman of IHS Markit. Now, of course, there's more down here if you want to go through it all. But this is just a warning. That's all I'm trying to do is warn you. Look out. We need to be paying attention right now. Trump's not even in office yet. And the way Obama's going, he might not even get in office. But a lot of people bought in to the movement. And of course, as I've said before, a lot of people are going to be really happy by the movement. That happens up to 8 years. Because there's temporary jobs that are going to come back. But let me tell you something. By 2020, your jobs, a lot of jobs, will potentially be gone because of automation. And we're back to square one. So Trump looks like he's saved the country. We're all happy. We can all go fight wars because we're proud and prideful of America. Again. And we're back to square one because people are out of jobs. Because the robots took over. Because that's where we are. We're in between this period of where all of our jobs have been sent overseas. Now they're starting to come back because Trump is making them come back, and that's a good thing. But once they get back here, by the time that the companies have built their warehouses and built their factories and so on and so forth, it'll be 2018, maybe the end of 18 or something, I don't know. But by that time, we have automation beginning to take over because technology doesn't grow in a normal timeline. It grows exponentially. We already have AI. We already have robotics, but they're getting smarter, quote unquote. And they're going to eventually take all the jobs that Trump is going to bring back. And I mean, that you can say what you want, but that's just the truth. I know it sucks to hear, but that's just the truth. So we need to be very careful about the infrastructure that is going to be built under Trump. Because companies like Blackstone are the worst. Just go look up American Homes for Rent complaints, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now again, this is one thing, and Trump's not even in office yet. We still have a long way to go. Because he hasn't even really gotten into detail about the infrastructure plan, but that's the concern for me. Because you have an individual and a company that could profit exponentially from an infrastructure model from Trump. I mean, just like they would profit through the roof. Redoing the infrastructure and, of course, building homes for rent. You see, you want to know how to beat the bankers, you want to know how to beat the billionaires and the elitists and so on and so forth who cause these issues. You own things. You don't rent them or lease them. You own them. That's the difference. Why do you think they're attacking so hard with home ownership? You don't own any land. That's a problem. Now, granted, I understand it's extremely hard to buy a house. Extremely harder to buy land, good land anyways, because you have Obama, who's gone through and has basically given the government a state bigger than Texas. Let me explain what I mean. President Barack Obama decreed 2 more national monuments from his vacation home in Hawaii, as we all reported. The new Bear Ears Buttes monument monument includes 1.35 million acres of Utah, and the Gold Butte Monument includes about 300,000 acres in Nevada. That makes a total of 553 million acres of national lands and waters that Obama has repurposed for conservation and protection using the 1906 Antiquities Act. More than any other president, according to the NY Times, more than 80% of Nevada and about 65% of Utah is owned by the federal government. That's crazy. We'll see what happens. That's all I got for you. I hope you found this informative, and of course, this is all open. I mean, I'm not trying to make a definitive claim here. We're just, as we find things, I'm trying to show you and trying to confirm and deny. And of course, we can't really confirm what Trump is really going to do or what he's really going to be like until he's in office. But we do know he's flip-flopped on a lot of things. One of them being his gun control. That's a big deal. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's all up in the air right now. Everything's all up in the air. So we'll see what happens. That's all I got for you. I want to thank you guys for watching and listening. God bless and carry on.